Hello, I'm the Pirate Novelist, your captain through the rough seas of media, and welcome to the first episode of a brand new series. Welcome to the first video in a brand new series. This is a genre showcase. So what that means is I'm going to show you in what I call a genre. I have about 17 or so genres written down here. Anything from alternative rock to alternative to indie, country, jazz, blues, compilations, and new metal. And in each episode, I will be showing 4 albums. This is not exclusive to vinyl. I will also show CDs and, if possible, digital. But I basically want to showcase physical media. I have been a big fan of physical media, but sometimes, you have limitations and budgets, and the things you want to show, you don't necessarily have physically. So I hope to get through a whole bunch of episodes before I actually get to the digital albums, but I will not be afraid to show digital albums in this series. So today's genre spotlight, or this episode's genre spotlight or genre showcase, is alternative rock. So I have 4 really good albums. Anything I happen to show in this video, I definitely recommend. You don't necessarily have to go out and buy it, but they are very good albums. I'm not going to show any bad albums, unless I happen to do a bad albums episode, but I don't think I'll be doing that. The first album I would like to show is a CD, and this is by the band The Format. This is Interventions and Lullabies, and I do apologize ahead of time if any of my CD cases happen to be cracked. Sometimes I get these secondhand. I got this one at a thrift store, and if it happens to be cracked, I haven't had the chance to adjust things for that. But I definitely also want to show you everything I can. Sometimes there are pictures on the bottom of the CD cases, so I'll happen to show that. Let me pull this out and tell you who is in The Format. And I'm going to use exactly what the media happens to say is, and whoever is the musician or whoever wrote any of the lyrics in the booklets. Here are, it's just a plain and simple, no fluff, in my opinion. The Format is Nate Roos. If you are a fan of the band Fun, he is the lead singer for that band, and he has also done some solo work. Jack Antonoff went to go form Bleachers. So Fun is on hiatus right now, and so is The Format. So it seems for Nate that unfortunately hiatuses seem to be there, but I haven't listened to any of his new stuff just yet, or his solo work, but I'm pretty sure I'm going to like it. But for now, we're just going to talk about The Format. So Nate Roos did vocals, backup vocals, and the hand claps. Sam Mantis did guitar, electric slide, 12-string, banto, all the additional background music. You also had Walt Vincent be on this, John Freese, Charlie Pajian. I apologize if I'm butchering any of the names. Scott Higgins, Rami Jaffet, Jeffrey Moore, and there's a whole bunch of other people that are involved. I'm going to hold on this if you want to zoom in for a moment and pause to take a look. And of course, here is the photo of the band. As you can tell, this is fairly old. This came out, I believe, in 2003, and I will confirm so in just a moment. 2003. Just very quickly, I am going to go over the track list. The first single, Wait, 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 Give Up, Tie the Rope, Tune Out, I'm Ready, I Am, On Your Porch, Sore Thumbs, A Mess to Be Made, Let's Make This Moment a Crime, carrier bay, and a safe or save. A safe or save situation. This is hard to read because it's a save situation. A save situation. There, it's very hard to read, but yeah, that is the track listing. Very not indie, but it has some folk elements. Definitely some rocking elements. I could hear the roots of what I liked about the first album of Fun in this record. This is their first record. There is one other record after this, which I do not have. But definitely interesting to look back to the early days of what Fun would eventually become. So, yeah, the format, interviews, interventions, and lullabies. I always get that confused because it's been a while since I've listened to this. But when I first thought this series, when I first thought of this series, this record came to mind that I wanted to show in my first genre showcase. So what I'm trying to do is show some records or CDs that I haven't shown before. Unless I really, really want to talk to death about a particular artist, I will try my best to include artists that I have not. So the first record in this genre showcase is The Format. So the rest from now on are going to be vinyl. And the first one I do want to show is one that I have talked to death about before, so I'm just going to be very brief, and that is Paris's White Noise. This is the first release. I know there are some other releases that have come out, deluxe releases and reissue releases, and their second album has come out. But I just wanted to talk very briefly about how this album, for me in particular, changed my thoughts on alternative rock and what you can really do with alternative rock. Some of the songs on here are really awesome. So the track listing for this particular album is Smoke, St. Patrick, My House, Holy, White Noise, Fire Eyelids, Mirrors, Ghosts, Let Them In. I'm not going to actually pull out the record itself, but if I happen to want to show any innards, which I am going to show here. So that is Paris right there in front of you. That is Lindsay, Alex, and Brian. So, most of the songs on this album happen to be written by Lindsay Gustafsson. I apologize, I butchered names, so I'm just going to do first name. Lindsay and Blake are mostly the ones who wrote a lot of the songs on this album. There are some background vocals tracks that have come off from this. But as I said, this album really pushed my perception with what you can do with alt rock. Lindsay's vocals are just absolutely fantastic, and you know I haven't had a chance fully to listen to the second album. I've been meaning to. I'll definitely probably do so while I'm editing this video. But this album is really good. Lindsay pushes what you... Sure, I said the name right. Yeah, Lindsay. Yeah, Lindsay spells her name very weirdly, but she pushes what I perceive to be really good vocals. And when I think of some of the best alt rock or some of the best vocals in the business, Lindsay definitely comes to mind. And one song in particular, Smoke, I really just enjoy the drum beats. There's something that just kicks me into my very soul and really to the deep. When I listen to Smoke, it kind of just gets to the core almost of who I am just in terms of the beat. St. Patrick is another one. My House. This is just a beginning to end masterpiece of an album in my opinion. And I don't say that too often, but there are a couple in my view albums that are perfect. This is one of them. Another one is Speak Now by Taylor Swift. Another one is Pearl Jam's Avocado record. And there's another one that is coming to mind, but that's for another video because I'm going to be doing a album review of it as my next video. So, for now, Paris's White Noise is going to hold you over. So the next album I want to show you is part alt rock, part soundtrack, and I'm a big fan of soundtracks. So the soundtrack episode will not feature this album because I do not want to have overlap. But this is the band Polaris, the fictional band Polaris, and this is music from the adventures of Pete and Pete. So, if you were a 90s kid like I was, Pete and Pete was probably one of the best shows out there on Nickelodeon. It was one of my favorite shows, and one of my earliest memories that I could think of was just this show, and that had a huge impact on me. And when this came out for Record Store Day, I was so very happy to line up almost overnight to get this, and I'm so very happy to have this. It sounds fantastic. I'll show the back here, and here is the them playing for the beginning of the actual show. Of course, you have Hey Sandy, which is the theme song to The Adventures of Pete and Pete. She is staggering, waiting for October, as usual. Everywhere, Ivy Boy. Summer Baby, Coronado 2. Ashamed of the Story I Told. Saturnine, recently. And The Monsters Loose. Not a bad song on here, and for a fictional band to be part of a TV show, this is one of my favorite albums from any soundtrack or TV show. Polaris is Jersey, Muggy, and Harris Polaris. So you have Jersey on bass, Muggy on vocals and guitar, and Harris Polaris on the drums. And what was really fun about the vinyl release, I'm not sure if this is on the CD release, is they talked about everything that was on the album, but it's in a weird speak, so it sounds almost like you're reading a sci-fi novel. I'll just read part of it. The trilingual providence had to be reached this instant, so it was time for blastoff, for danger. Polaris, shade and top secrecy, would need Crackerjack support, along with Stowe's discretion inherent on any 3-year mission. Life Captain Drew Mady Waters produced and mixed the year 1257, and guided the ship through the difficult asteroid fields of the Hansa system. Years 2 and 3 were turned over to Captain T. Buck Buckland to produce and mix 3, 4, 6, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Explain the riches of the Providence Nebula. Tom Chase was chosen to play organ, piano. Bell Thomas was to play trumpet, and Sir Des Kelly to play pedal steel guitar. So it's a fun way to give album credit, and that's why I wanted to showcase this particular album. It's one of those zany kid shows. If you did not grow up with it, you definitely should check it out. It's a very bizarre show for kids. The Nostalgia Critic, one of my favorite reviewers, felt that this was Seinfeld for kids, and I will definitely say that. But this is fantastic music, and even for a fictional band, you should definitely check this out. Not sure if you can capture it on vinyl because it was a Record Store Day release, but definitely pick up the CD or listen to it digitally. It's out there on YouTube, and support this fictional band. You'll definitely not regret it. So when I was thinking up this genre showcase series, the format was the album that came to mind when I thought of alt rock. But this album that's going to end the episode was the one that kind of sparked the entire series. And that is We Are the In Crowd's Weird Kids. This album, I could talk to death about this album. It is one of the best alt rock with punk element records that comes to mind. If someone said, give me an alt rock band, We Are the In Crowd. That's just how synonymous with the genre I feel that this band is. We Are the In Crowd is, according to the inner sleeve, they are also on hiatus, unfortunately. Tay Jardine, Jordan X, Rob Cianelli, Mike Ferrari, and Cameron Hurley. Tay Jardine actually is formed Saint, Sainte. I'll leave a link to her new project in the description below. But we're here to talk about Weird Kids. Weird Kids has the track listing of Long live the kids, the best thing that never happened. Manners, come back home, attention. Dream out loud. Remember to forget you. Don't you worry. Windows in Heaven and Reflections. When I think of this band, I think of the best thing that never happened. Attention. Manners was the very first song I ever heard of We Are the In Crowd. But there is a particular song on this album that makes it stand out and pushes it over the edge into legendary status for me. And that is Windows in Heaven. And this song clearly is about somebody very important, I believe to Tay, who passed away. And it's literally just about, her wondering if there are windows in heaven, if someone's watching down on her. I'm just going to read just a little bit of the lyrics. If you could see me now, would you be pleased and proud? I'm doing fine, but sometimes I cry when I see your face. Are there windows in heaven? To see me now through all the skies and clouds, living my life with a heart full of pride. When I see your face, are there windows in heaven? This song hits me very deeply. I lost my father, unfortunately, at the age of 17. And when I first heard this song, I busted into tears. It really hit me down to the very core of who I am and down to my soul. And just very few songs have done that on first listen. And to me, that makes this album. So this album mainly, again, is why I want to do a genre showcase. I didn't want to go too much into detail within each album because I want you to actually go out and take a listen to it. But we're going to end here with Weird Kids by We Are the In Crowd. And a little bit of a shout out to Tay Jardine's new project, Sainty, because her voice, I love the guitar work and backing vocals and everything about this band, but to me, it's Tay's vocals that kind of push everything over the edge, and why I wanted to end with this particular album. It's her voice that I really wanted to showcase in this episode. So that pretty much wraps it up for episode 1 of the Genre Showcase. I hope you enjoyed watching. If you have any suggestions for future genre showcases, please leave them down in the comments below. Definitely check out Saint T, and I'm going to leave also links to each one of the artists and one song from each album that I feel will get you started with that record. And if you want to expand and listen for yourself, please feel free to do so. I'll be posting future genre showcases sporadically if I happen to find the time. I actually was free this weekend, so I'm filming 2 videos. This one and a video review. So the video review is going to be up next. But until then, thank you so very much for watching. And as I always say, when the waters get rough, keep on sailing.